morning and welcome to a local caller from Salt Lake City, Utah. This is Ryan Palmer. I'm calling in from the Zija corporate office in Lehi, Utah. You are tuned in to the Ask the Scientist call. It's bottom of the hour right now, 10:30 Mountain Standard Time. We're going to go ahead and get this call underway. Thank you for joining us today. It's exciting to jump on the line and hear folks from all across North America joining us, all the way from the West Coast out to the East Coast, from Canada, north to south. I heard a number of individuals from Florida joining us on the call today. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. This call was designed to give individuals an opportunity midday to be able to break away and give themselves some education, some knowledge. Of course, to hear about the opportunity that is taking the country by storm, taking the North America by storm, and not just North America, but really going global right now as Zija is reaching out and spreading globally across the world, and individuals are leveraging or using Zija as a vehicle to build a global business. Of course, on this call, we're talking primarily about the products and the product line. Of course, the product is the foundation or the driving force behind the opportunity that is available right here at Zija International. We call this the Ask the Scientist call, of course, because we have the opportunity on this call to hear from our Director of Research Sciences, and of course that is Dr. Joshua Platt. We'll have a chance to hear from him in just a minute. As I was going through the questions this week, and of course on this call we're always directing and answering questions that are emailed into us throughout the week, but I saw a number of questions that were asking about Josh, Dr. Platt, and his background, what he's done, how he ended up at Zija. And so I thought it would be appropriate today if we started the call off by getting to know Dr. Joshua Platt. Of course, he is the newest addition to our executive team here at Zija International and has played a vital role in taking the product line of Zija International forward and enhancing some of the existing products. And I know Josh has been really busy over the last few months as we're preparing for convention with some new things that we're prepared to unveil here in the upcoming months leading up to convention, now of course at convention. So we're very grateful to have him as part of our team. He's done a tremendous job so far, and I know he's just getting started. So I'd like to maybe start the call off, Josh, if you're there. If maybe just for the listeners on the call today, would you mind just telling a little bit about yourself, your experiences? I know being a very humble man that you don't like to talk or boast about yourself, but certainly you've got a great story, and we feel privileged to have you as part of our team. So if you would, tell the listeners on the call a little bit about your experience, what you've done, and how you arrived here at Zija International.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan, for the opportunity. And, first of all, I guess I want to thank you for the chance to talk about this. And for those who don't know, I routinely play Ryan in racquetball. So though I may hold the mantle of scientist, he definitely holds the mantle of the athletic one. And so we've been playing for about 4 months, and I have yet to beat him. But and this is part of my lifelong journey, is I'm always trying to better myself. And so one of these days I'll get back at him. But what I wanted to do is, a lot of people ask me, hey Josh, what brought you to Zija? Why are you here? What's your background? What do you have to offer? And my story is rather interesting and simple. I grew up in a small town, just very much intrigued by science throughout my life. And as I went to college and undergraduate, I was really fascinated with the human body and started doing some research with the local professor there, and was able to make some key discoveries that received national recognition by the American Association of Scientists and by the National Institute of Health, to where they gave me a fellowship to study at the NIH after I finished my 4-year degree for a couple of years studying breast cancer. And there I was able to publish several papers during that fellowship, looking specifically at cancer and how it metastasizes. And after that, I then worked with Harvard, then recruited me to come out and study at Harvard Medical School for an advanced degree there, a PhD in biomedical sciences, where I studied the human body and so forth. During my scholarship there, I was able to study, again, how the body develops and grows and matures specifically at the cellular level. And so I looked at this with respect to several diseases, obesity, cancer, and so forth, and again published several papers there. And luckily, with the help of a wonderful family, I first and foremost, I'm a husband and father to 3, soon 4, coming the first week of August. 4 children. With their help, I was able to graduate that 8-year program in 3.5 years. And so after that, I did a short fellowship here in Utah, at the University of Utah, studying obesity and the stress that has specifically at the cellular level. And so the course of my studies in the lab of over a decade, working at a bench, studying human cells, how they work, and natural products, and how they affect us at this natural cell, Moringa stood out to me as a botanical that has unlimited potential. And so as I started to look more and more into this, Zija really struck a chord with me. And the products that Zija offered at that time, I believe were second to none. Right? It's easy as a scientist to vet the quality of products. We hear this all the time of this here and that there, it does this, it does that. And as a scientist, you understand that there's very little science backed it up. However, with Zija's products, there was an amazing amount of legitimate foundational science about Moringa and these products that, to me, that this industry and Zija specifically, their products, was something that I wanted to come and be a part of. And so I actually sought out Zija after graduating and doing these fellowships. Kind of the atypical route. A lot of my peers went to work for big pharmaceutical companies, to go work in hospitals. But I felt that the best way that I could help promote better health was to be able to educate people, to work on products that are easily consumable, that can help better nutrition and health. And so I sought out Zija, talked to Ken, and it's been a great relationship this first year. It's been a lot of fun. Other than my inability to beat Ryan at racquetball, everything has been a booming success. So, that's ultimately my background, and so that's why I'm here at Zija. Well, thank you, Josh. I'll tell you what, I'm certainly glad that you chose to be part of our team. It's exciting when I hear you tell your story. Some of the core principles or beliefs that you have are consistent with that of Zija International. Of course, that is preventative care, rather than what is so common nowadays is to try to treat a symptom or something after the fact, but to actually go to the core root of a problem, which is not being nutritionally fed like we were before. And so it's fantastic to have you part of the team. Certainly, I love the fact that you're part of the team now, because I've been looking for years now to find somebody that I could beat on a consistent basis. Whenever somebody has a hard day, they always ask to play sports with me, and they feel so much better about themselves. So I'm happy I could do that for you, Ryan. Certainly, I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. And one thing I love about your story is when you talk about doing an 8-year program in 3.5 years, and I think that's where we have some similarities, except, I tend to do a 4-year program in 8 years, so, I'm just doing the reciprocal there, so. Thank you. Josh, one thing I would like to talk about today, specifically on the call, is we talked about the product line. We talked a lot lately on previous calls about the products and what they do, what they contain, the Super Mix, the Smart Mix of Prime 90. We talked about all of them on an individual basis, the XM AM capsule. But what I want to talk about today is collectively how these things work together, and specifically how they work together in a weight management system. You had mentioned that you did some time at the University of Utah studying obesity, and so certainly you're an expert in this category as well. But if you would, Josh, would you just talk about the components of the weight management system and how they work together and why they work together so effectively? Yes, and this kind of stems back to my research at the University of Utah, right? To really get at the bottom of these, you have to look at the cellular level and at the organismal level as well. And to do that, you need this system that targets 3 areas. One, we need to be providing nutrition. That is the foundation of Zija's products, and that is why I believe that they are so tremendous, is that we really look at nutrition as the key foundation of all of our things. Second, we need to cleanse. This is often a buzzword. There's a lot of merit behind it, and the way that Zija has implemented this is great, and we need to suppress our appetite. And so part of the weight management system and how this works so great is Zija looks at each one of these. And, for example, when we look at nutrition that the body needs, we actually look at the cellular level. And when the cells get the food that they need, they'll actually signal to the brain, to the body, saying, you know what, we're fine. We are good, we're satiated, we'll feel full. And so the nutrition, by giving that nutrition, our body bodies are able to have more energy, they're able to feel more full. And this is an important foundation. And Vija has, as part of this weight management system, several products that are nutritionally based. To do that, based on the moringa plants, Super Mix, Smart Mix, the Prime 90 shakes, all of these have a substantial amount of moringa in them, so substantial, of the finest moringa. And I've spent several calls on this before talking about what makes our moringa so much better than everyone else's, that it gives that nutrition that it needs so that the body is able to respond and be able to move forward in a way of saying, you know what, we're not in starvation mode. We can start to utilize these fat stores for energy. We can start to feel full, and that is the key. And so we have several products that address that nutritional pillar of our weight management system. The second one that you talked about is appetite suppression, right? So when we look at what the amount that we're eating, we are eating substantially more than we were just 20, 30 years ago, right? So today the average person consumes nearly 3,300 calories. And 20 years ago, we used to consume, 20, 30 years ago, we used to consume about 2,200 calories. So you can see we're just on this horrible upward trend of just this huge caloric intake, and we need to suppress that. And it's difficult because there are so many tools that food industries use and restaurants use to draw our attention to food, right? We can't sit down and watch a television program without 50 commercials showing food, and so we're sending these signals to our brain saying, you know, you're hungry, where in actuality we're not. And so to do that, we have the XMAM capsule, the XMPM capsule, and again, the Prime 90 shake with that foundational protein base functions as an excellent appetite suppressant. And so by implementing these products, we are able to curb that appetite, to kind of battle that daily onslaught we are getting from the food industry to consume more and more and more. And then the third one you talked about is the cleansing. And this is extremely critical because when we look at we're actually metabolizing fat, we introduce so many types of byproducts, so to speak, that our body has somewhat of a difficult time to remove. And so cleansing is an essential part of this, the breakdown of these fat molecules. And to do that, we have the premium tea, which is an excellent cleansing agent. And then something else that is very important is there are several studies out there showing, by doing a meal replacement, how this helps our body kind of get caught up in its natural cleansing as well. And so by introducing a Prime 90 shake as a meal replacement is also an excellent way to cleanse one's body. And so when we look at both the cellular and organismal, the whole body level, we see that Vija has introduced products to address those three key pillars.
Well, thank you, Josh. That's fantastic. And then, I love when you're talking about cleansing. I've heard you say before how the cleanse component is so important when in a weight loss or a weight management program, because it will help you to push through those plateaus as your body will get overloaded with toxins and free radicals that actually have been stored in your fat, that you'll hit that plateau and then eventually put the weight back on. And so I'm the guy that will have to tell my story that I had lost 100 pounds prior to the weight management system. Unfortunately, I had just lost the same 10 pounds 10 different times, and so fantastic. And we need to kind of introduce these things to get us off of those plateaus, and that's a lot of times companies will adjust just one of those three pillars, and that is why we'll hit these plateaus or why we're unable to really get that weight management goal. Is you have to look at it as a system, and we have to address it as such, and that is why one of the many reasons why Vija is just light years ahead of everyone else. If they look at each one of those pillars and have several products that introduce each one of those pillars. Well, thank you, Josh. I appreciate your perspective on it. Of course, a perspective that comes with years and years of education. Multiple universities with the National Institute of Health. I always love hearing your story, and the fact that how privileged we are to have you as a member of our team, and knowing what we have going on right now, preparing for the event in Salt Lake City this fall, and what you're working on. I know there's going to be some exciting things that we can unveil.
There are, and this is, and I work closely with Russ, and come convention, this is, I think Russ and I's baby. This has been, a full year, Russ and I working together to deliver what I believe to be some of the greatest products ever, and so we're really excited.
Well, Well, I'll tell you what, I know what's coming, and you got me sitting on the edge of my seat, so I can only imagine what the DJ Nation is going through right now. So, thanks again. Just to maybe summarize the call for you today, we talked about the weight management system on the call today, and we talked about the three components or the three steps in the weight management system, being first, proper nutrition, give your body the nutrition it needs so that you have the ability to lose weight and still be healthy and feel great. Secondarily, step two, appetite suppressant. Of course, you can achieve that through either the XM AM or the XM PM capsule. Either capsule works from an appetite suppression perspective, and of course, the Prime 90, the meal, if you use it as a meal replacement shake, that it also contributes to an appetite suppression. And then, of course, the third is a cleanse and a detox to cleanse and detoxify your body, which will allow you to push through the plateaus that you typically will run into during any weight management program. That helps you stay motivated and on the right path. And so, collectively, the combination of these products working together makes our weight management system effective and complete. And at the end of the day, you can sum it up in two words, and that is, it works. It just simply works. And, feel privileged to have an opportunity to get out to the field and see the testimonials and the stories of individuals that have lost the weight, anywhere from 20 to multiple hundreds of pounds. We're jumping on the call today, and I heard Dave Alfini, his voice out of the Bay Area in California. A tremendous story. Guys lost over 200 pounds using the weight management system. So it's always very exciting to be able to hear those stories and see a product line that is simply working and changing people's lives from a health and wellness perspective. And that's all tied to the opportunity. So we have a way in which we can change people's lives twofold, both from health and wellness, and then, of course, with the opportunity for those who want to take it serious. It's the foundation of a business model where people are literally changing their lives by achieving financial freedom. So it's exciting to be a part of it. Josh, always thanks again. We appreciate your contribution on the call today, but not only on the call, but for everything that you're doing here at Beach International to help take it to the next level.
All right, and that also includes helping you feel better on the racquetball court. So thank you very much, Ryan, and thanks for the time. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Josh. However, I know that Tuesday this week we had a pretty close game, so I don't necessarily want you to get too much better. I'm kind of enjoying my undefeated record right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude today's Ask the Scientist call as we talked about the Zija weight management system and collectively the products working together for people to achieve long-lasting results. Thank you very much, and look forward to hearing everybody tune in again next week at Thursday, 10:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 12:30 Eastern. And we'll go through next week. We'll take questions that come in via email this week, and we'll be addressing those questions on the call next week. We'll talk to you then.